This is section 1 of the women's 5,000.
We have Jacqueline Gogan, Holly Reese, Victoria Patterson, Ali Galuli, Jennifer Lutz, Jordan Nalen, Erica Long, Kylie Cardoso, Annika Hildebrandt, and Lucia Koenig-Ziesler. So Holly Reese from Battle Road has won a couple of 5Ks in these women's sections at these Twilight meets by quite a long margin. But today she's actually not the top seed in this field. Jacqueline Gogan has those honors. Ooh, as we almost see a false start from Jennifer Lutz at Battle Road. So it'll be interesting to see if Holly Reese, now that she has another big challenger, can step up her game and go with her and fight for a victory here. It'll be very interesting to see. It's a very strong field. The entire field is between 16 and 19 minutes. So the slowest competitors are still in the 18-minute range, which is very quick. But we should see might have a pacer, and then a group of 3 women around 16 to 16:20, and then the rest of the field will be more in the 17 to 18 range. So we have from Battle Road, we have Jennifer Lutz, Annika Hildebrandt,
and seconds and change through the first 200 meters.
Yeah.
The lead group, the chase group, about 42, 43 seconds.
Well, this is the big one. This is the New Balance featured event here at the Twilight Series with money and glory on the line. You see this lead group right now, top 3 places. Those are in the money, and
Holly's gotten all the glory from all the other races she's running this year, so it'd be a real shame if she can't take down the one that will get her the big bucks, right, Greg?
Yeah, I think she's been setting her sights on this race all season, has been building up to this in her training and her preparation. So, we are quite biased up here in the press booth, rooting for our teammate Holly Reese for the win. But of course, we will keep you updated on all the other competitors as well.
It looks like there'll be some packs forming as the women try to work together to get some great times here today. Again, this is the type of day where it really helps to have a pacer, where it helps to maybe stick behind another competitor for an extra straightaway, for an extra lap, so that you don't have to work as hard pushing that wind out of the way.
So there are 3 distinct groups that have formed here, 600 meters into the race. You can see them all going around the track right now. But we'll zoom back in on our leaders.
Yeah, and Holly looks very relaxed. She's worked with pacers before, and I think she's just got to think of this race as, being split up into a couple sections. One where, they just kind of run their quicker pace, and then the other part where she'll really have to battle for the win. And the longer you can stay relaxed, the better, right, Greg?
Yeah, I think the beginning of the race sets the tone. You want to find your pace and get into your rhythm early. I think all these women know from their training kind of what pace they're capable of, but also they'll be competing as well, trying to stay with each other and trying to match the stride of whoever's around them, even if it is a little faster, maybe even a little slower than what they're capable of.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jacqueline, who's the top seed, is in 4th right now, net 3rd if we take out the pacer. And I think she may be feeling that, it's easier just to let the other women set the pace for now, rather than maybe trying to go out super hard at the beginning.
Yeah, I think as the top seed, you might know that you're capable of winning and maybe by a good margin, but it's always risky to go out there on your own, and especially in these longer distance races, you see athletes pack up, kind of work together, work off each other to get through the early parts of the race.
Yeah, and it will be very interesting to see who has, that stronger feel at the end of the race. We haven't seen a lot of these women really try to kick super hard in a competitive setting. in this type of race here. So it'll be really great to see how that unfolds later on. And in the second pack, it also looks like Jennifer Lutz has now taken a very slight lead as this pack makes its way around as well. This second pack is more aiming for around like 17:30, I would say. So that's their seed time.
Yeah, I think Jen Lutz ran 17:30 on the nose, basically, at the first Twilight meet in the 5K.
Maybe she's trying to just beat that and get under 17:30. But the second pack looks very strong, pretty relaxed. 2 abreast, which is interesting. You know, around a 5K, you know, every time you go around the pack, every time you go around in almost the second lane, there's just a little bit of extra distance you have to run.
And
Annika Hildebrand, this third pack might be paced by another couple Battle Road women, helping her break the wind a little bit and get a great time.
yeah, there's a nice Battle Road pack going around the track there, but we'll take you back to our lead group, coming around the bend and into the home stretch.
Holly's in the net lead right now behind the pacer, but it is 1, 2, 3. Pretty much no gaps, and I wouldn't expect any gaps to start to form until basically the final mile. Is that about right, Greg?
Yeah, I think, you know, it depends on the athlete when they're going to make their big move, but a lot of people, as just kind of a general rule, will try to get through the first 2 miles at a steady tempo and not necessarily feel good, but feel within themselves, and try to pick it up from there.
But we were having some physical tests of the wind right now as bags are being blown over. So,
Yeah,
you know, it's going to be a mental race, I think, in these conditions for these athletes. Even though, you know, 60 degrees doesn't sound that bad. You know, in fact, it's a pretty nice temperature. But with these winds, it definitely feels a bit cooler. And you take into account that in Boston this last week, it's been in the 80s. I think that now a windy 60-degree day feels a lot cooler, actually. And, you know, anytime you get a change in temperature, you know, that can make a difference.
yeah. Well, on this last lap, Holly Reese has really broken away from her other 2 competitors. She's alone in following the rabbit.
And if the rabbit and
see
her
the gap
can pull away a
that
bit,
has formed
that can
there.
be very helpful for her. We'll see now Jacqueline is starting to pass the woman for second, and see, you know, you can't let that gap form if you want to hang on for the win here. So if Jacqueline wants to chase down Holly, she should do it sooner rather than later.
Definitely. And the chase pack is entering the home straightaway here.
Molly Reese following the rabbit closely.
Jen Lutz looking very strong. They're in the second pack. And, you know, this is a battle for 4th right now with this chase back, but, you know, all it takes is one top woman, you know, pulling out for whatever reason to make it a battle for 3rd and make it a battle for part of the featured event. Would, you know, you'd net some money if you pip 3rd place, even if it's a minute slower. So, you know, all these battles are relevant.
That's right. You know, you never want to see someone drop out of a race, but sometimes it happens, and you could think you're racing for 4th or 5th place. You're way behind the leaders, and all of a sudden, you know, you're on the podium.
Yeah, we saw that in the 1500.
Not by any means wishing that to happen to any of these women. Hopefully our top 3 stays strong and stays in the race here.
But Holly is looking very strong. You know, she's got about a 35-meter gap to 2nd place to Jacqueline, and you know, I think that should this lead continue for a couple laps, it'll be very, very difficult to see her not finishing this race strong. Holly is not someone who usually breaks down on the last mile. She's usually very consistent, and I think this pacer is doing a great job helping her along.
Reese passes through 2,800 meters, 7 laps, about 9 minutes.
Yeah, there's still a lot of the race to go. This gap that Holly Reese has formed on her competitors is by no means permanent.
Or unachievable, but it is big.
And she looks really strong as she starts to lap some of her teammates from Battle Road.
Leader approaches 3,000 meters.
Yeah,
3K.
through 3K, she's coming in about 9:40.
9:39.
And now the pacer has hopped off, so now Holly is going to have to work on her own a bit, which is a bit tougher. Again, as we mentioned, with the gusting wind, it can slow you down a little bit. But she does have a little bit of a buffer, back to Jacqueline and then back to third place. So if she can keep calm through these next couple laps, she's looking in a very strong position to take home the featured event win.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's close to a 50-meter gap now that Holly has opened up on second place. They're spread out along the back of the track, heading into the wind around this bend.
And here the chance for Holly from her teammates. She's just over a mile away from the finish.
Yeah, when she comes around, next time she crosses the finish line, she will have 4 laps to go, just 1,600 meters.
Holly Reese
in the lead. This gap has gotten larger. It's now about 70 meters, I would say. Jacqueline has just had to get around people to lap, but
those two approaching, 4 to go.
And there's Holly. Yeah, Ari was just saying there are a couple competitors that aren't on our start list here. It looks like Jamie Lord and Janelle Solvaletti from Battle Road, but we know them. They're our teammates. They're great. They trained for the Boston Marathon this spring. Both had some great races, and now they're back on the track.
Yeah, and they might have been late entries, but it looks like they are trying to finish this race and get some good times, so we're excited for that. As we see Holly coming around here, lapping more women. She's got a very significant lead still. I don't really see Jacqueline cutting into this unless she makes a really big charge now, with 3 laps to go.
3 to go for Holly Reese.
So here we see Jamie and Janelle also coming up to 3 or 4 laps to go for them, looking for a great time today, and then just about 4 laps to go for them, 3 to go for a third place competitor, and then Annika Hildenbrand also coming up to the line.
On the back straightaway, approaching 4,000 meters, 10
And we
laps.
have Jen Lutz also doing a good job, but there's no really more packs anymore. Janelle and Jamie have been running together, but everyone else is kind of on their own pace now.
Yeah, the packs have broken up. It's every woman for themselves out on the track.
It is a small field today. We only have about 12 runners on the track, which does lead to some field spread. But for Holly Reese, I don't think she would say that's an issue right now. I don't think she's going to complain about having a 100-meter lead.
No, she looks great. She goes past Jen Lutz.
Just 800 to go now, and showing no signs of slowing. She was a little bit over 13:30 through 4,200. So if she can put together a very solid last 2 laps, she's looking at a great time. She's got about a 15 to 17 second lead, which is very difficult to overcome. And second place to third place is still another 10-12 seconds. So the podium paces may have already been sorted, barring any drastic measures. But
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on the race for second and third as we follow Holly around the bend here. But she has lapped many of the runners in this race already. I think she is coming up on the fourth placer in the race coming around this bend.
yeah, and we started off this broadcast by saying that this might be finally the race where someone can challenge Holly for the win.
No, can't be done.
This was proven false. You cannot challenge Holly for the win.
Holly Reese looks unstoppable as she hits the bell.
Yeah, this could be one of Holly's most impressive performances of the season. It may or may not be her fastest time, but given the conditions and given the competition, it's a very impressive win.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, her PR is just over 16 minutes, like 16:02, 16:04. Sorry, Holly, for not remembering exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure she'll get there, but it looks like it will be in the low 16s.
Yeah, it'll be a great performance nonetheless.
200 to go, 15:28.
We have Jamie Lord, Janelle still running very strong. We have Annika Hildenbrand with another lap to go, and Jen Lutz also looking strong. But here, Holly Reese is really turning on the burners. She doesn't mind a 150-meter lead. She'll try to make it even larger as she comes home to win the New Balance Women's 5K featured event. And she's going to just be over 16 minutes. It's going to be about 16:04. What a run from Holly. That is a very impressive final 800.
Well done,
The final
Holly
800
Reese.
was about 2:30 flat, which is just very strong.
Jacqueline gone from BAA, less than 100 meters to go.
Our second place runner here, Jacqueline Gogan, is going to finish around just over 16:30. She had a very strong start. She hung around with Holly for the first part of the race, but was unable to keep up in second. But we'll still take second place. And then our third place finisher comes to the line right now in about 16:50. That'll be Victoria Patterson, unattached, for third place. And then most of our competitors will now be starting their final lap or on their final lap. But there's a sizable gap, Victoria and Jacqueline did a great job of making the effort to go for the win, and that's all you can ask.
Definitely. They gave it their all, won some money. Hopefully, they'll be buying drinks at the bar tonight.
This looks like Jordan Nayland coming to finish fourth place, the time about 17:37. Then this might be our fifth place finisher right here, Jen Lutz. Number 5 on the bib, number 5 on the track. What a run from her. Finished under 18 minutes. And then we have another finisher here, Erica Long from Greater Boston, finishing in just over 18 minutes. Strong run from all these women today.
Yeah, it's a great day for the 5K, maybe minus the wind, but the temperature is awesome for distance running.
Here we have Jamie Lord coming to the finish, as with Janelle trying to hold off a fast finishing runner, which she does. Jamie and Janelle really did the whole race together, both getting under 18:30. Strong workout from them today.
And we will follow Annika around the track as she finishes up her race.
Yeah, Annika had a good start and fell a little bit away from Jamie and Janelle, but a strong race nonetheless. And in a very, very competitive field today, has to be said, for the women's 5K. Probably the most competitive overall field we've had today.
Yeah, that's
Full of quality.
the featured event. You know, it brings out the local talent and makes for some great racing.